Hi, everybody. How are you? You're a little wet, huh? I see it, yeah. This is my umbrella here, so. By the way, maybe you've heard already, I don't know, but Deacon Michael, who's leading the program here, he's going to be ordained a priest on June 1st. So he's a great guy, great guy. So I've got my new book, which I want to tell you about briefly. But how many of you, out of curiosity, have read Champions of the Rosary? Has anybody read that one? It's a really big one. It's over 400 pages. It's a little intimidating. When people first see it, they're like, wow, how do you write so much about the Rosary? But actually, that was my 5th book about the Rosary. The one that I just released a few months ago, 10 Wonders of the Rosary, is my 6th book on the Rosary. Really pushing the Rosary these days. But it's a smaller book, so it's not that intimidating to look at. And it's really good. It's got some of the most amazing stories that you'll hear about the Rosary. There's a lot more wonders than 10 wonders of the Rosary, of course. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And every culture could tell you about how the Rosary has saved them from a political, ideology or from some kind of form of bad government or some situation. Every culture has a story about that and how the Rosary, women in the streets rising up against tanks, like in Manila. The Filipinos here, they know about that, right? Remember that? You remember that? Or in Colombia, or, so many countries could tell you stories. So, of these 10 wonders that are in the book, I want to tell you one of them because it's so inspiring. So this one is about a serial killer. This guy was bad news. And this wonder talks about the power of the Rosary to repel evil, to ward off evil. So many of you will remember this. Some of the younger people here might not, but maybe after this you can do a Google search and you'll find out about it because it's incredible. So in 1978, there was a serial killer named Ted Bundy. Many of you will remember that. And he was a bad guy. He killed a lot of people. I can't remember how many, but I think it was like 30 people or something like that. Well, on his last rampage, when he was at a sorority house in Tallahassee, Florida, he broke into the house and he killed 2 girls with a knife. And he was going to go into another room where there was a young lady, and she was going to be his next victim. And that was his intention. He had already killed 2 in the room across. Now he was going to go in for this young lady. Well, guess what happened? So he opened the door, but he couldn't get in the room. And there was no barrier. He opened the door, but all of a sudden, his knife, his bloody knife, was like thrown out of his hand by a force that he couldn't see. And it was like somebody was pushing him out of the room. And he had to flee in a panic. Well, they captured him that night. Now, the girl was in that room. She was right there. She was only feet away. She had fallen asleep. She was in the bed asleep. Guess what was in her hand? The Rosary. The Rosary. This young lady had made a promise to her mother that before she went off to college, that she would pray the Rosary every night for protection while she was at college. Well, that particular night, she fell asleep. And that happens, right? If you leave the Rosary till the end of the day and you try and do it in bed, you're going to make it through about 4 Hail Marys and you're going to fall asleep. It happens. So do it earlier. Don't leave it till the end of the day. But guess what happened? He was repelled out of the room because she, even when she was asleep, she had in her hand a weapon. A weapon. And Satan, he recognizes the power of that weapon. And with one, this particular serial killer couldn't even go in the room. Now, that young lady was so fearful of what had happened because the police came when they captured him. She didn't even want to talk to the police. She said, I want to talk to a Catholic priest. Well, they sent for a Catholic priest, and he came. And she told him about that promise that she had made to her mother. Well, years later, I can't remember exactly how many years later, but it was quite a few years later, Ted Bundy was on death row, Now, he was not a Catholic, and unfortunately, he never converted to Catholicism. We don't know what happened. We leave all of that up to God's mercy, but he actually requested on death row to talk to a Catholic priest. Guess which priest was sent to talk to him? The same one that was there that night in 1978 that talked to that young lady. So Ted Bundy told him, look, on that evening in Tallahassee, maybe you can explain to this, since you're a man of the cloth, you're a man of God. I had every intention of killing that young lady, but I couldn't do it. A force prevented me from going to the room. My bloody knife was thrown out of my hand. Explain that to me. The priest said, oh, I can explain that to you because I was there. They called me that night. I talked to that young lady. She had made a promise to her mother to pray the rosary. And he said to him, you didn't know what threw you out of the room, but it was that weapon in her hands. It was that rosary that she had in her hands. That's how powerful the rosary is. Now, I'm probably preaching to the choir here with you guys. You guys are rosary packing people. I know that. You probably got a rosary in your left pocket, in your right pocket, and in your purse right now, right? This is important because the rosary can change lives. It can save lives. This is why we need to use it, right? We need to, even if you fall asleep with it, okay, God will, he'll allow it. What did Fulton Sheen say? When we can't finish our prayers, our guardian angel finishes them for us, right? I think my guardian angel's like, again, you only made it through the first decade. We give our best effort and heaven, helps us in every way. Now, that's one of the wonders. Get that book, 10 Wonders of the Rosary, because you're going to find out about the other 9, which are just as amazing. And it's a small book, so you can finish it in just a couple days. It's really inspiring. I want to tell you about my upcoming project, my new book that's going to be coming out, because I think you're going to absolutely love it. How many of you love St. Joseph? Yeah, everybody. Oh, you're going to love him a lot more come next year. So next year is the 150th anniversary of when Pope Pius IX declared St. Joseph the universal patron of the church. So that happened in 1870. Next year is 2020. So it's 150 years since that happened. Do you know what we've never had in the Catholic Church for 2,000 years? We've never had a comprehensive program of consecration to St. Joseph. We've never had it. He's our spiritual father. He's the head of the Holy Family. He's the terror of demons, right? Oh my goodness. So we need to bring him onto the battlefield of our current times, because you know as well as I do, we've got a messed up world right now. There's a lot of confusion about what a family is, about what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman. We've got this gender ideology nonsense going on. People who don't even know which bathroom to use. We got messed up times right now. We need St. Joseph on the battlefield because he's a quiet man. Oh, but that doesn't mean he's a timid man. Demons even fear when that man sleeps. He talks to God. We need him today more than ever. So I've written a book. It's not coming out until January 1st. The book is done, actually, but we've got to get the permissions, and I got commissioned artwork for it and everything. It's going to be called Consecration to St. Joseph. That's simple, okay? No complicated title. Consecration to St. Joseph. It's going to be a 33-day program of preparation and consecration to St. Joseph, where you're going to learn everything that you can know about him. Now, a lot of people have said to me, Father, how can you even do that? We don't even have one word from him in the New Testament, right? We don't. But actions speak louder than words. And even though we lack words, it's okay, because saints, popes, and mystics, they fill it in for us. And there's a ton of saints and popes and mystics who have said so much about Saint Joseph. All that is going to be in the book. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Now, how many of you have made 33 days to morning glory? Tons, right? 33 days to merciful love. How many? Tons. Keep doing that, right? This is going to be like the next thing to do, to wrap it up, bring it full circle, to consecrate yourself to your spiritual father, Saint Joseph, because we need him so much right now in our lives. I need him. My brother priest needs Saint Joseph. Because you know what's happening in the church and the world. There's so much confusion and chaos and all kinds of craziness going on. We need him in a powerful way. So I want to encourage you to go to a Facebook blog that I've started. Now, many of you know that about 4 or 5 years ago, I bailed out of Facebook. I was like, man, this is nothing but drama, I'm spending so much time on this thing. So I ditched it. I was like, I'm out of this thing. I was done with it. But now I'm back on it. not with the personal one, but to promote this upcoming consecration. Because you know what I did? And this is a bold move. I can't believe I actually did this. If this works, it'll be a miracle. You're going to witness history. I wrote the Pope a letter in English, but I had one of our brother priests in Argentina translate it into Spanish, like really perfect, churchy Spanish, And I said to the Pope, I said, Holy Father, I know that you love St. Joseph, right? You right now, Holy Father, could make a major impact on the church if you declare a year of St. Joseph. Can you imagine if we had that happen? Oh my goodness. We've had a year of mercy, right? Just a couple years ago. We've had a Marian year, many Marian years, year of prayer, year of faith, religious life, those things. Wonderful. What about Joseph? Let's do this, Holy Father. We could bring our father back in, because then when you bring your father into the house, what do you get? Order. You get things order. You get taught. You get corrected. We need St. Joseph for this. So I wrote that letter. It's going to be hand delivered to the Pope in just a couple days in Rome by that bishop. I didn't want to mail it because I thought, I don't even know if he'll get it. So this bishop's going to hand deliver it to him in Spanish. So pray that happens. This would be absolutely wonderful for the church, for all of us, for families, for priests, for parishes, dioceses, for children, for all of us. We need St. Joseph right now. Now, I want to encourage you in a big way to continue to be apostles of mercy, apostles of Our Lady, and apostles of the Rosary. We need this today, my friends, in such a big way. Do you know what the 11th wonder of the Rosary is? You. You're the 11th wonder. You can impact the world. You can change history. That's what Our Lady of Fatima said, right? When you pray the Rosary, you can alter historical events. You can change things. You know that St. Faustina, even, this is interesting, saints can do this. She changed the weather. You remember that in her diary? One time the weather was really nasty, and all of a sudden it changed, and people were wondering, my goodness, how did it change so fast? And she kind of wrote in there, me and Jesus know how it changed, because she simply asked him for that. Imagine if all of us, so in love with Jesus, that we're laying spiritual roses. That's one of the other wonders in the book, giving Our Lady spiritual roses through praying the Rosary. Imagine if we storm heaven with our daily rosaries, what we can do for our own conversion, for the conversion of the world. Imagine what we can do for the souls in purgatory, right? Did you know that every day 150,000 people die on this planet? That's a lot. If you add that up for 1 year, that's 55 million people a year die. This is a big planet. Are most of those people prepared for death? Probably not. Probably not. But if we pray the Rosary, you can gain an indulgence for them. We can be making a big dent in purgatory if we do this. So get that book, 10 Wonders, because you're going to find out about its power, about how it's a weapon, how saints have promoted it, popes have promoted it, how it gives us indulgences, and how the devil fears it when we use it. So get that book, and remember to go to the Facebook blog. Oh, I didn't even mention the name of it. I mentioned it, but I didn't say what the name was. The blog name, because I post something on that blog about St. Joseph every day. Every day. And I'm going to keep doing that till it comes out, January 1st. It's Consecration to St. Joseph with Father Calloway. That's the Facebook blog. Consecration to St. Joseph with Father Calloway. I post something there every day to keep you motivated so you don't lose the fire of hearing about it, but having to wait 8 months until it comes out. Tonight, I fly to Israel for a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. And I'm going to be posting things from there from Nazareth, from Bethlehem, mentioning things about St. Joseph. So you can find out about those if you go to the blog. My friends, God bless you so much for your love for divine mercy, your love for Our Lady and the Rosary, your love for St. Joseph, and you're going to love him even more come January 1st of next year. God bless you, my friends. Thank you so much.